love the way that you made it personal. I think you can get to who I am, what I'm doing, why it matters. And one thing I think that's important here is the power of storytelling, right? The power to hear new voices, right? And the power to give those voices agency.
So I think you can take someone's personal story, then you can make me imagine the thing I actually can imagine.
My name is Araba, and my big idea is to have vending machines for books across Baltimore County.
I am the founder and director of Pennies,
the Education Justice Podcast Project,
Pro Bono Counseling Project,
Turnaround,
Vision Street Landscaping,
with Dundalk Renaissance.
My name is Dominique Clifton, and I want to start a revolution.
So I start from the beginning?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's good. You got it. I just needed that one sentence. Yeah.
If I stumble, what happens?
we can.
I'm trying to think of what comes next.
I didn't quite read that right, but that's fine. All because of the work that they've done in counseling. I'd like to do it again.
Yeah.
Because I realized I'm like, and what's the next word? Yeah.
I'm so nervous.
See, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even tell them most important part. Oh, hopefully we able to change some people's lives.
Hello, I'm Franklin Baker, President and CEO of United Way of Central Maryland. And our organization is so proud, really excited to support the Changemaker Challenge right here in Baltimore County. We started the Changemaker Challenge in 2017 with partners in Howard County with the goal of surfacing new ideas for positive social change. Since its inception, we've witnessed firsthand the meaningful and measurable difference it has created. So this year, we've expanded it to all counties across Central Maryland. At United Way, we provide what's needed, where it's needed, to improve lives and communities. We work day and night, every day of the year, and especially now, during the pandemic, to find solutions to ongoing and emerging needs. But it doesn't, and it simply can't, end with us. We are always looking to find and support those grassroots, boots-on-the-ground leaders, because we know that they're among the best equipped to drive real change within their communities. By broadening the Changemaker Challenge, we can give more people a seat at the table and give them a powerful platform to share their big, bold ideas that will help close service and resource gaps, so that together we can help even more people in the focus areas of health, housing, education, and economic advancement. Now, it's important to point out that the Changemaker Challenge isn't a competition among applicants on ideas because, and I want to really stress this, every single concept to improve lives is really important. The challenge here, yes, the challenge here is inequity and how we can all address it. It's institutional racism and hate crimes. It's the disparate and severe damage this pandemic has inflicted on people who were already vulnerable. It's barriers to good health. It's policies and dynamics that prevent people from getting ahead, from accessing quality education, and from having a safe, affordable place to call home. Today, more than ever, we need fresh, new ideas for meaningful change in Baltimore County and, yes, across all of Central Maryland. The people you'll hear from tonight and all who have entered the Changemaker Challenge have really inspired and impressed us with their commitment to making lives better for others. Now, tonight, and this is important, everybody, tonight is about celebration. We're here to celebrate, to elevate, and to amplify the voices of local activists and change agents and their big ideas to improve lives. With us here are members of the local community, people who are really invested in the health and future of Baltimore County, and who are here to cheer on these change makers and share what they think makes their concepts so meaningful. And this celebration doesn't end after tonight. We'll continue to amplify the voices of these change makers and share their work to drive even more support of their big ideas, and to really spread the word about just how important change is at the local grassroots level. As you hear from each of them, I have a request for you here in our audience. Think about how you can invest in these change makers in a way that is meaningful to you to help accelerate their good work. United, we can help them realize their dreams, and you can help fuel their work by partnering with them, telling others about their work, and their plans by sharing networks and contacts with them and even more. You can find donation links and contact information for each of our amazing changemakers at uwcm.org/Changemaker Challenge. And even though we are not in person, we still want you to be involved with the show tonight. So make sure you use the chat feature that is below the screen so you can show your support. Tonight, we celebrate all Changemaker Challenge entrants and participants, past and present, and all those who are sparking new and creative solutions to really improve lives in their communities. Thank you all for your big and bold ideas. Now, let's hear from our community partners who will be reviewing our Changemaker submissions. Would each of you introduce yourself and share just a little bit about what you bring from your experience in Baltimore County to this process? Let's start with Evan Lutz. Let's go with you. Evan?
Hi, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. I am so excited to be amongst so many different change makers and people that are very influential in Baltimore County and making this place a better place. I was born and raised in Baltimore County, went to Baltimore County Public Schools, Pikesville High, class of 2010. And I'm very excited to see so much change happening in Baltimore County. My company, Hungry Harvest, was started in my parents' basement, right in Pikesville. Basically, we sell fruits and vegetables that otherwise would go to waste. We're trying to fight food waste and fight food insecurity by, for every box we deliver, we help, we either donate or subsidize a box for families in need. That was started right here in Baltimore County. And so I'm so excited to see all of these others, terrific ideas of how to change the county for the better. And really excited to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Evan. Our next partner is David Thompson.
All right, thank you, Franklin, and you're right. What a celebration of all these change makers tonight. Hi, everyone. I'm David Thompson, and I've lived and worked in Baltimore County for 8 years now. I'm a father of 2 young girls, and my wife, Christy, and I are raising our family here. Professionally, I'm a vice president with the PNC Private Bank. At a young age, my parents have taught me to be grateful for our blessings and to give back to the community we live in. So prior to moving to Baltimore, I served in the United States Army. And I've carried that experience of service to something larger than myself right here to our community in Baltimore. So I'm very grateful for the relationships I've built through Leadership Baltimore County and most importantly, United Way's Baltimore County Run Board, which have helped me connect my passion for making our community better to tangible opportunities to become a part of the positive change happening in Baltimore. I'm passionate about removing these barriers that keep others from pursuing their life goals. To the change makers tonight, I'm inspired by your passion, dedication, and most importantly, your action to make lives better in Baltimore. So thank you all.
And thank you, David, for your lived experience. Really appreciate that. We also have Emily Inez. Emily.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for letting me be in this event. My name is Emily Inez. I'm 26 years old. I'm a wife and also a mother. I came from Venezuela 5 years ago, and it wasn't until 2 years ago that I started working at City of Refuge, Baltimore, as a community organizer. My dad is a pastor, so I understand that our position is nothing without people. So I'm really happy to reconnect with my roots, helping the people, the community, and building relationships with them. I was the first Hispanic hire at City of Refuge, Baltimore. So I'm really happy for being able to help people like me, Latino people. And now that we are growing, I like to see these ideas, and thank you all for bringing these ideas to us. We are here bringing hope to life and transformation. Thank you.
Welcome, Emily. I know you're making Pastor Billy so proud. So happy to have one of our Neighbors United community leaders here to review the ideas from other voices in our community. And finally, we have Brian Crowell. Let's hear from you, Brian.
Hey, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. This is an amazing event here. So my name is Brian Crowell. I am a Baltimore County native, living my entire 37 years in various parts of the county here in Baltimore County. Since the age of 10, I've been engaged in the community either by volunteering or working within the county. I've enjoyed watching the evolution of Baltimore County and giving back to that community in which I live and serve. At work at KCI Technologies, I actually helped start a philanthropic program giving employees the opportunity to be able to give back to the communities that they serve and that they live in. And just giving them an opportunity to be able to do that during company time, just so that there is time for them to really give back. A lot of people have life that just gets in the way, and we wanted to give an opportunity for them to be able to give back. I would say my family is a true driving force to me making Baltimore County a better place. I'd love to have my kids grow and find different ways for them to give back into the community. And again, just thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Thank you so very much, Brian. We have a really great group of invested folks here tonight. Thank you all for your time and commitment to really improving Baltimore County through your efforts and through your participation in the Changemaker event. So let's meet our change makers. First up, let's hear from Dominique Clifton about her idea for a mobile movement studio.
Audre Lorde said that self-care is the most revolutionary thing that we can do. My name is Dominique Clifton, and I want to start a revolution. I want to normalize self-care for Black and brown bodies while increasing job opportunities for instructors of color. While it is true that we all have stress and trauma in our bodies, Black and brown bodies experience more severe forms of stress. Being Black or brown in this country means living in a constant state of stress. Every day, we must process and deal with layers of individual trauma on top of new mass racial traumas. Right now, we are witnessing Haitian migrants being treated like chattel at the Texas borderline. And just last year, we experienced the gruesome deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor to police brutality. The reality is that stress left untreated turns into depression, and depression turns into addiction, overeating, violence, or like my own maternal grandmother, it shows up as a brain aneurysm at the age of 50 years old due to a lifetime of neglecting self-care. It is scientifically proven that physical movement is the most efficient way to relieve stress. That's why I am creating a mobile movement studio that will travel to marginalized communities offering free movement and body-centered approaches to healing trauma and reducing stress, such as yoga, dance, and exercise, provided exclusively by instructors of color. By partnering with local organizations in Baltimore County, we will be able to expand our impact. Working together, we will be able to increase access to stress management tools and techniques. We will also be able to decrease some of the barriers and the stigmas that are often associated with seeking help. Communities of color are stressed, and we aren't seeking the mental health help that we need. We aren't seeking help due to outdated stigmas, but we also aren't seeking help due to a lack of trust in a medical system that has failed us for generations. It is time to change that. Healing, particularly for communities of color, does not always look like traditional therapy. So with the use of a mobile movement studio, we get to redefine the ideas and definitions around what healing can look like for us and build a legacy for future generations. I invite you to join me on this massive movement by making a donation to fund this worthy cause. This is just the start of the revolution, but we have a lot of work to do. Thank you.
Dominique, this is a great idea to help break down barriers, to help and reduce the stigma for those in need of mental health support. And you're helping people succeed on their own terms, which is so really important. So David, let's hear from you on this big idea.
Dominique, wow, congratulations on being a finalist, but most importantly, leading this positive change in Baltimore. I think mental health will be a common theme this evening, and as many are struggling, especially over the past couple of years. And I just love how your idea brings the benefits of yoga. Me personally, I have experienced those benefits myself, and you're able to bring it now to the communities that don't have access to a program like this. So great job, and I look forward to seeing what the future has to hold for you.
Thank you so much.
So Emily, what questions do you have for this change maker?
Yeah, hi, Dominique.
Hello.
I would like to hear about the partnerships that you have or will develop in Baltimore County for this work.
Sure. So the partnerships are a really crucial part of the Mobile Movement Studios. It's really the driving force behind the work that we're going to be doing. We are looking to partner with, our program will have two aspects. So there will be an employee wellness aspect as well as a community wellness aspect. My goal is to work with organizations that, have employees and offer this as an employee incentive. As was mentioned previously, we don't have a lot of time outside of work, for prioritizing our wellness when it comes to families and all of the other things that we have going on. And so I'll be looking to partner with corporations, organizations. PNC will be a great partner. I will also be looking to partner with schools. So Baltimore County schools, I am working on getting some local school partnerships. And then I will be looking to work with organizations, so nonprofit organizations that are already working with the community that we desire to serve, marginalized communities and communities of color. And by establishing partnerships with nonprofit organizations, I will be able to reach the community. And so the intent is to not necessarily have the Mobile Movement Studio travel to specific neighborhoods, but to show up to spaces where employees and community members currently go to. So showing up to the nonprofit organization or showing up to the school or showing up to the business. So partnerships, again, is really such an important part of this work.
Thank you so much, Dominique, for your wonderful response. Next up, we have New Lens. Let's learn more about how their Education Justice Podcast project can really help improve lives right here in Baltimore County.
You can see that students face inequities, but do you really know what's happening to them? There is something incredibly powerful about letting young people speak, and that's exactly what this project is doing. The Education Justice Podcast project aims to remove excuses for ignoring injustices in the education system by giving students the skills to bring their perspectives to the podcast platform. My name is Jay Jackson Rao, and I work alongside Jessica Schiller and Zoe Resnick-Gawanter. In 2020, during a once-in-a-generation pandemic, we created this project to bring Baltimore County college students together with Baltimore City high school students in response to this time of unprecedented reflection on the systems they navigate when it comes to issues of race, inequity, and marginalization that impact their education. From storytelling to research to teamwork, our project teaches students the skills they need to produce podcasts of their own. Despite their disparate backgrounds, high school students have already managed to educate college students on some of their privileged positions, and reticent college students have taken a new leadership role. These groups are no longer seeing themselves as separate, rather as one cohesive group with a shared purpose. The collaboration doesn't stop there. By finding their voices, the students can take what they've learned and become actively engaged citizens, speaking out and working with others to change the very fabric of their learning environment and thus their community. Through sharing their stories, students build a web of understanding and interconnectedness that moves us closer to education justice for young people in Baltimore County and beyond. We are asking for $25,000 to expand the project, giving more students the opportunity to access new knowledge and methods that can expedite their journey to becoming fully engaged community members on the topics that affect them and Baltimore County directly. Our project is not here to empower students. Their voices are already powerful. We simply aim to give them the tools to amplify and reach audiences who have a stake in fair education for all.
Thank you so very much for your presentation. Like the Changemaker Challenge, you are really amplifying voices and leveraging the strengths and assets of those in the community. Wonderful idea. So let's hear what our members have to say. Brian.
Yeah, just wow. So podcasts are such a timely way to give students a platform to share their voices and thoughts. This is also a great way to help them hone their skills in communication and public speaking skills while addressing issues that matter to them. So I believe that this is a very important cause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Evan, what else would you like to hear from this Changemaker?
Yeah, we what a terrific concept. I mean, the education that you guys are doing is fantastic. I'm just curious about how you guys recruit and train for students participating, and what are your plans to continue the project after the Changemaker funding?
So in our work, we recruit students through our personal and professional networks. One of our partners, Jessica Schiller, is working directly with Baltimore City Public School coordinators, as well as teaching students in the Towson College of Education. And so we put out the word through our personal and professional networks for high school students that might be ready for this kind of work. And college students are connected to the project through the College of Education. So that's how recruitment goes. And in terms of what our plans are following the Changemaker Challenge, we began this work in the pandemic in response to young people needing a space to process what they were going through in the pandemic and looking at this larger context of what's going on in the education system landscape. And so we'll be enhancing what it is that we've done both through the fall and spring past cohorts. We're going to be expanding the project to more students, and our ultimate goal down the line is to host a public community event that engages community members in the work of students, as well as creating learning content that can live online onto the class projects so that educators and young people and other folks who want to use podcasting as a tool to look at education equity issues can have that asset. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so very much for your response. Now let's hear from Araba Mays about her big idea.
Hi, my name is Araba Mays, and I'm installing free book vending machines and book deserts across Baltimore. The goal is to provide underprivileged children and their families access to high-quality, diverse books. These books are theirs to keep, take home, and start building their in-home libraries. Bring to mind your favorite book as a child. Maybe you remember bonding over a bedtime story, or escaping on a faraway adventure during the night of a big storm. Your favorite book probably comforted you, distracted you, healed you, or made you laugh. Every child should have books in their homes to call their own. I'm eliminating book barriers by embedding books back into the community. The plan is to partner with local businesses and county authorities to place free vending machines and bookshelves in high-traffic areas of low literacy communities. Think small businesses like barbershops, laundromats, and everyday spaces like subway stations, bus stops, and the lobbies of hospitals and low-income housing units. We know communities with high illiteracy rates are also high in rates of poverty, poor health, and unemployment, while their literate counterparts are often healthier with high employment rates and incomes. By providing children with the literary resources they need now, we interrupt a cycle of illiteracy that has plagued our communities for decades. As a librarian, I spent years curating books. That's why our selections will reflect communities that they are in and address community-specific needs. This means books for children with characters that look like them, talk like them, celebrate the same holidays, and share the same struggles. This is for a worried child in a hospital waiting room, kids with incarcerated parents, and teens with questions they're often too embarrassed to ask. Funds will be used to rehabilitate vending machines, purchase books, and pay staff wages. Reading changes lives, from educational outcomes and social mobility to emotional well-being. Increasing book access means improving lives and strengthening communities. So who wants to join me for a reading adventure? An adventure for a child to keep forever.
Thanks, Araba. Your idea connects education, diversity, and access in such a compelling way. Your targeted approach and plans to leverage partnerships are really interesting. Great concept. David, tell us what you thought about this big idea.
Thanks, Franklin. Araba, wow, I just absolutely love this idea. You know, I actually was made aware, apparently you're a very popular person and this idea is very popular. I've seen the TikTok video and apparently 120,000 other people have seen it as well and liked it. For those in the audience, you should definitely check that out. And And what's really interesting about your idea is that it's so simple, but yet it's going to have such a huge impact. And just like a quick story, the other night, I was actually reading to my 2-year-old daughter, and she said something to me. She said, "Daddy, I want to touch the moon." And I immediately thought about your idea and your video because, every child deserves to feel that same wonder of imagination, the education, the hope, and inspiration that reading books can bring. So thank you for ensuring that every child has an opportunity to touch the moon one day.
So Brian, what else would you like to know about this work?
So first of all, again, hi everybody. The video that you created, as well as that viral TikTok that David mentioned, it really put the ideas in motion, and I truly think you did an excellent job explaining your vision. Question I have for you is, how do you currently get the books you distribute, and do you work with a team to get the books to the places you've described?
Yes, so currently I've been able to build partnerships thanks to the TikTok with the Maryland Book Bank, Foley Publishing Company. We've gained 20,000 followers who are ready to contribute to my book drive and give their used books. Blue Star Press is also in on this project, as well as comic creators, and some authors and illustrators have also reached out to me. So we've been able to establish partnerships and get a pretty hefty book pipeline going to put books into the machines, to supply our machines with.
Thank you, Araba, for such a great ideas. Wonderful idea so far. Next, we have Pennies for Point. Let's hear what they have to say.
The arts and access to the arts should be an indispensable part of people's lives, and not just for those that have the means. Our mission is to support and provide the opportunity for all young people to have access to dance education. Students of dance develop significant discipline, increase self-esteem and confidence, and most importantly, dance education aids in right brain development. In terms of emotional health, dance allows students a creative outlet, which is necessary for emotional and mental health.
Pennies per Point will advocate for equal access to these opportunities through funding the appropriate supplies and equipment for underserved youth in the Baltimore County region through partnerships with local dance studios. We all know about a kid in school who didn't get to go on a field trip because their parents simply couldn't afford it, or couldn't participate in the show after working so hard all year. Maybe you knew that person, maybe you were that person. Financial insecurity should not bar people from participating in the activities or education they love, but this is the case in dance education for so many young people. If you're not familiar, dance education can become severely expensive when considering tuition, fees, uniforms, and particularly shoes, which are critical for avoiding injury. On average, a pair of pointe shoes will cost a dancer $65 to $95. Students can expect to purchase a new pair of shoes every 3 to 4 weeks in the earlier stages of their training, but the consequence of dancing on what are referred to as dead shoes is even more costly. Once you have worn your shoes down and they no longer support your body weight, the 26 bones, 33 joints, and more than 100 ligaments and tendons of the foot can collapse on top of themselves, leading to long-term debilitation. The idea of Pennies for Point was sparked after seeing a fellow dance mate struggle to dance on pointe in overly worn pointe shoes. Additionally, at the heart of our organization is the idea of representation. We live by the quote, "You can't be what you can't see." Another way we plan on alleviating the issue of underrepresented populations in dance is to go into public schools to teach free dance classes to expose these children to the art form. This award is a step of many on this journey, in the right direction, and most certainly on point.
So I've got to say it. This idea seems right on point. It's so true that you can't be what you can't see. And your big idea looks like it will really help open access to the arts and provide some great tools for those you'll serve, tools that will serve them throughout life. So Emily, let's hear what you thought about this great idea.
Yes, thank you for this idea. I think it's awesome. I have a friend who teach dance, and I know that it's really expensive. So I love that you bring inclusion and you are giving this opportunity to every young people. And I like that you are your mission to remove the cost barrier for from art. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Evan, what more would you like to know about this special project?
First of all, Kayla and Greta, you guys are incredibly inspiring. What you guys are incredibly, you guys should be incredibly proud of the work that you're doing. I think so. I'm an out of the classroom learner. I'm a terrible dancer, for the record. I have 2 left feet, but I can appreciate out of classroom learning because it's so important for children's education to figure out what they're best at, and dancing is like an excellent way to express their emotions and movement. I'm preaching the choir here a little bit, but I'm a little curious. What is the plan to support the students after the stipend runs out? What's the plan to kind of cover their costs?
Well, I will say this, that the main goal is to partner with dance schools in the area, Baltimore County specifically, and providing leotards, tights, and especially point shoes, which is like our main focus right now. And I believe that after the stipend even runs out, that we will still, first of all, have relationships with these dance schools anyway, and then also go into these public schools in the county to teach the classes and workshops and everything. And then also getting donations and funding from third-party investors. We've been doing a lot of research even into getting doing research into getting funding from banks and everything that are in full support of the idea, especially for arts organizations.
Thank you for your response. Now let's hear from our next Changemaker, Division Street Landscaping. Take it away.
My name is Alex Smith. I'm the owner of Division Street Landscaping. We plan to take all the vacant lots and turn them into beautiful, beautiful sanctuaries. Division Street is 100% ex-offender owned, staffed, serviced, all that. And my main goal is to take guys, formerly incarcerated guys and other people with barriers to employment, take them to some of the worst parts and turn them into something beautiful. And that is the people involved as well as the community involved. What we want to do is we want to create a pipeline for guys to learn landscaping all the way up into are employed in the industry. So if you don't see beauty, you can't reflect beauty. And so what we want is to change the way people's neighborhoods look, change the way people think about certain neighborhoods, and then we can change the people in the neighborhood.
Thank you for sharing your big idea. What a terrific concept to improve neighborhoods. One lot, one backyard at a time. Well, really helping people learn new skills and planting the seeds for new jobs and careers. So, Brian, let's hear what you thought.
Alex, this was a wonderful idea. Given a chance, another chance for people to be productive in our community and to learn a valuable trade. With that, our physical surroundings are so important to both our mental and physical health. I really like your idea to provide those ex-offenders, with opportunities while beautifying our neighborhoods.
And so, David, what questions do you have for this Changemaker?
Hey, Alex, just really fantastic idea. It's just so incredibly important for ex-offenders to integrate back into normal society, and really being employed is such a critical piece to that, and it's often a barrier for many. So thank you for being a change maker in Baltimore County. So my question is, your proposal outlines the funding of the hiring force and So what's next for these individuals that go through your program once they've been trained? Can you speak to the future plans for your program?
Well, the future plans are to get men and women ready for the industry. And if that means as a foreman, as operations manager, or even to the point where they can start their own truck, start their own company. There's a bunch of one truck wonders out here that are making a decent living and taking care of themselves. And so the sky's the limit. Not only that, I have a bunch of connections with other landscaping companies that are always looking for employees, always looking for skilled employees. That's the most important part. People that know what they're doing.
Thank you, Alex, for your response. Now for our next Changemaker in tonight's celebration, let's hear from Sharp Dressed Man.
You're standing in front of your closet the night before a milestone life event, a job interview, the first day on the job, or an internship. Now think about doing that as someone who has spent the last 5 to 10 years incarcerated, months in a rehabilitation program, or a veteran that has been out of the workforce. I'm Elisa, Executive Director of Sharp Dressed Man. SDM is a Baltimore City-based nonprofit providing professional formal dress wear to individuals graduating reentry, rehabilitation, veteran, and recovering programs, dressing an average of 2,000 men a year for employment opportunities and job readiness. We're taking our mission on the road, empowering men to improve their lives, and bringing our transformative suit program, the Sharp Dressed Man Experience, to the Baltimore County community. The Sharp Dressed Van makes the Sharp Dressed Man experience accessible to everyone, eliminating barriers while maintaining a safe post-pandemic environment.
What a great idea, Lisa. Something as simple as a nice suit, which many of us take for granted, right? Can you really boost the confidence for a man ready to embark upon or really restart his employment journey? Your expansion plans really sound great. Evan, what are your thoughts on this idea?
What a fantastic concept. I mean, providing people the confidence and the hope before a job interview is something that's, I think, so taken for granted in our society, and we don't even think about it if you have a suit. But if you don't have a suit, then what are you supposed to do? And it's really tough for a lot of people to get back and integrate into society and get jobs. So kudos to you guys for thinking of this, for expanding it to where it is today, and for continuing to think about future expansions too.
Thanks so much.
And Brian, back to you. What more would you like to know about this idea from Chris and Elisa?
Firstly, I mean, this is a brilliant idea, and it brilliantly captured both in the planning and in the video. In interviews, that first impression that people get is often what defines that person, and having a nice sharp suit for them, that's going to make them go a long way. In your application, you spoke about key partnerships that will help these men beyond the clothing. I'd like to hear more about your approach in the county and how that will be different from Baltimore City.
Absolutely. So I can speak directly to that. We've had multiple partners, within the city, such as Catholic Charities that have a variety of a subset of facilities underneath that are throughout the county. So I've already begun conversations with many of our partners that have presence in the city, but outside counterparts in the county.
Plus, we're trying to use these funds to get a van so we can take the clothes, not just here from the city, but take them out to all the surrounding counties by doing pop-up shops, bringing the clothes out to the people where they are. That's why the van is very critical for us, because right now we have this one location in the city where people come to see us, But we've seen over this last year where we've been delivering clothes to people, and we really could use something besides our own personal vehicles and be able to be mobile to bring the clothes out.
Thank you so much, Chris. Pop-up shop idea, love that. Next, we have Kiss to Heart. Let's hear about this big idea to drive change in Baltimore County.
In 2018, 1.7 million Americans heard the words, "You have cancer." I was one of them. Thankfully, the rapid advances in medicine saved my life 3 times. But throughout this nightmarish period, I kept wondering, why do I feel so alone? After all, that same year in Baltimore County, more than 25,000 people were also diagnosed with cancer, the highest number of cases in the state. My big idea tackles this issue of loneliness by launching an innovative art therapy program led by master's-trained art therapists. These therapists are mental health clinicians, which means this program is not about teaching art, but rather about allowing patients and their families to express their feelings through a creative medium. For decades, art therapy has been used to improve physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Importantly, studies show art therapy can actually help to reduce stress and anxiety, which is critical for patients with cancer in terms of both outlook and outcomes. This is what helped me, and by working with the Greater Baltimore Medical Center, the $25,000 will help sponsor curated art kits and therapy sessions for up to 600 families. These sessions will allow patients to connect with others and access helpful tools and resources. I am confident in our ability and could not be more excited to carry out this idea because throughout COVID, which, as we all know, actually exacerbated profound loneliness, my nonprofit Kiss to Heart has been working tirelessly to donate more than 2,000 cancer care kits and hundreds of blankets to families nationwide. Through this program, we've been learning how to scale and make a meaningful impact. This new art therapy program will serve as the next stage of growth for Kids to Heart. We will collect surveys to assess needs, measure impact, and develop a successful model for this county and replicate for others. I didn't find the support that I needed locally, and the sense of dignity and belonging is what I'm here to create. So with your help, it's time to show patients that we care. Thank you.
It's so heartening to hear how your personal health battles really actually help spark your big idea, Kids to Heart. Your work to support physical, emotional, and mental health is a great way to improve lives for those fighting cancer right here in Baltimore County. So Emily, tell us what you thought of this initiative.
Oh, I love this idea. Thank you for sharing this with us. I think when you go through something and you are able to help the people who is facing the same situation, I think that is really inspiring. And I think you are going to do you are doing a great impact on those lives. And I think with the therapy that you want to be able to share with these people, I really like this idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. David, what else would you like to know about this special project?
Hi, Sonia. Thank you, so much. Thank you for bringing joy to those that are facing loneliness, that many experience while receiving treatment for serious disease and especially cancer. So in addressing the great impact you'll have, can you touch on the partnerships that you'll have within Baltimore County, or perhaps you already have, and maybe the numbers you wish to achieve here in Baltimore County specifically?
Yes, thank you so much for your question. So, like Evan, we also started really in my parents' basement. And throughout COVID, we've been delivering our cancer care kits and blankets to the 2 major cancer centers in Baltimore County. That's the Greater Baltimore Medical Center and the Johns Hopkins Green Springs Station. And through talks with them, we've already introduced this idea to them, and they are totally on board. And in fact, social workers are constantly looking for more ways to help their patients. And these connections are how we will will also in turn attract the participants, at least initially as part of this pilot program, to really develop and address the needs of these families. And really, this is a whole package, designed by a cancer survivor who's been there, done that, with the support of trained art therapists and community partners. And one of them will be the student graduates actually that are studying to be art therapists at the Notre Dame University of Maryland. And so that's how we're really trying to integrate this to be deeply ingrained in Baltimore County, to have the support of the therapists and students, as well as the families that are being affected by cancer.
You are so right about social workers really doing all they can to help their patients. Thank you so much for your wonderful explanation. Okay, here's our next presenter, Dundalk Renaissance Corporation. Let's hear how they plan to improve lives for the people right here in Baltimore County.
In March 2020, our sense of normalcy was rocked at its core. Many businesses shut down in-person operations, resulting in an increase in unemployment claims. This left households struggling to manage their monthly finances. A major expense impacted were mortgage payments. Now, while forbearances were available to support families through difficulties, as of July, these accommodations started ending, leaving many responsible to cover the mortgage debt. Some borrowers have been offered accommodations, but many are facing challenges mirroring the same housing instability experienced in 2008. Baltimore County has had a drastic increase in recent foreclosure-related notices. In July, there were 818 notice of intents and 62 notice of foreclosure sent. In September, 2,926 notice of intents and 200 notice of foreclosures were issued. This is an increase of over 300%. We need to do something now to help families and maintain stability in our community. Here at Dundalk Renaissance, we have a plan to address this impending issue. With our 0% interest mortgage assistance revolving loan fund, families will have their delinquent mortgage obligation covered with an additional 3 months of future payments. Not only are we addressing the foreclosure rate, but we are providing families a jump start to build and maintain a successful economic position. To ensure our clients achieve progress, we include one-on-one counseling to reinforce coaching methods necessary to obtain measurable benchmarks. Our clients will graduate when they can successfully complete a home refinance with favorable terms, namely a lower interest rate and subsequent payment, thus paying back to the fund and allowing us the opportunity to assist other deserving families. History has shown us the impact high foreclosure rates can have on our community. Help us support families and avoid the need of another economic recovery.
So, Sonia, the challenge you're tackling is one that we're very aware of at United Way as we help thousands of people prevent evictions and homelessness, and especially now, right, during the pandemic. Your idea looks like it will help drive family and housing stability in Baltimore County. Thank you so much for sharing your big idea to grow your work. Evan, tell us what you think.
Sonia, this is an incredibly important and just a heartbreaking problem for people to lose their homes. The pandemic was something that nobody asked for. It affected so many different homeowners who couldn't keep up with their payments, who lost their jobs, reduced their hours, and there was just nothing that they could do. And I just want to personally applaud you for these efforts that you're making, supporting housing, supporting family, and really trying to make Dundalk and Baltimore County a really fantastic place.
Thank you.
And thank you, Evan. And over to you, Brian. What else would you like to hear about this project and how it will work?
Thanks again, Sonia. I believe the vision here for financial relief in the Dundalk area is a major concern, and we applaud you for tackling such an important issue. We appreciate the help that you will bring to the community, and this project can help put homeowners back on track financially. Can you talk more about how the Changemaker funds will help ensure long-term success for these homeowners, and how the project is self-sustaining based on their refi payments?
Absolutely. The Changemaker Challenge will not only allow us to help clients with their mortgage delinquencies, which a lot of them may be receiving from their bank, so it would definitely help that deficit. But that additional month support, additional 3 month support will give them that financial jumpstart in ensuring lasting success. As we have done many of our initiatives in the Dundalk community to assist homeowners, we definitely know that by missing their mortgage obligation, they do fall, risk the opportunity of having challenges in other monthly obligations. So this fund will definitely allow us the ability to assist homeowners in providing them that footing, and to be able to, when they pay it back, allow us to support other families in the area.
Good question and great response, Sonia. And now our next change maker, let's hear from the Pro Bono Counseling Project.
If you've lived through the past 2 years, you probably don't need me to tell you that mental health needs are on the rise. Compared to before the pandemic, 3 times as many Americans report that they are having feelings of depression and anxiety, and nearly that same number share that they are thinking about suicide. But is mental health care available for all of our neighbors in Baltimore County who are in need of care? The answer is no. Many of our neighbors lack insurance, and if they do have insurance, they might have high copays, high deductibles, limited networks, or face long waiting lists. My name is Amy Greensfelder, and I'm the Executive Director of the Pro Bono Counseling Project, and we have a big idea to address this issue. Highly qualified mental health professionals in Baltimore County are ready and willing to volunteer their time so that everyone in the county has access to mental health care. Let's connect folks who are seeking mental health care to these licensed mental health providers. Our dedicated staff coordinates services and makes sure that each person who's seeking care gets connected to the right provider for their individual needs and circumstances. And continuing education training is offered to the volunteers, both as an incentive for their time, as well as to train them for the unique needs of the folks that they will be matched with. All for free, with no wait times or complicated forms. This idea isn't new. We've been quietly executing it for over 30 years, but it is as big, innovative, revolutionary, and needed as it was 30 years ago. We've seen the impacts that counseling has made on people's lives. We've heard from clients who've pursued a degree that they never thought possible, who've regained custody of their children, who've received a promotion at work, and who've gained the courage to leave an abusive relationship, all because of the work that they did in counseling. The need for counseling is great and growing larger. With your support, Pro Bono Counseling can continue to make sure that mental health care is available for everyone in Baltimore County who is in need of care.
So Amy, you are so right. It can be so hard for people to take just the first step to seek mental health care. And certainly the cost can be a barrier for many. So this idea is so timely in the wake of the increased need for mental health support that's resulting from the impact of the lingering pandemic. Thank you so much for your great idea. David, tell us what you think.
Hey, Amy, thank you for bringing this great idea to the Changemaker Challenge. I think it's been said many times tonight, right? Mental health, so important. And as you mentioned in your video, it's incredibly expensive to get treatment from a professional. So thank you very much for you bringing this to community members that have that financial barrier. And thank you for your dedication to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. So Emily, what else would you like to know about this special project?
Yes. I would like to know how can you be able to help more people?
So one of the beauties about this project is we work through a network of volunteers. We have over 850 licensed mental health providers all over the state of Maryland. And with the advent of teletherapy, it doesn't matter where in the state somebody is versus where the provider is. And so we have been able to connect folks in Baltimore County to these clinicians all throughout the state. And so because we're connected into such a large network of licensed mental health providers who are ready to volunteer their time, we can take the time to get to know each person who's calling us on an individual level and find them a therapy who matches what that person is looking for in counseling. So sometimes people share that they want to be matched with a counselor who shares their race, their gender, their ethnicity. Sometimes they want to work with a counselor who uses a particular intervention. And because we have such a large network all over the state, we are able to expand access to folks in Baltimore County to mental health counseling.
Thank you so much, Amy, for your response. And now it's time for our final Changemaker. Let's see what Turnaround has to share.
Turnaround has been providing trauma-informed services to survivors of power-based violence for the last 43 years. We would use the United Way funding to create a youth advisory council, which would be the first youth-led advisory board in the Metro Baltimore region that focuses solely on the prevention and awareness of human trafficking, sexual violence, and intimate partner violence in our region. When we started this project in November of 2020 as a youth-focused virtual panel series on dating and sexual violence called Youth Speaks, we knew our long-term plan was to evolve it into a youth advisory council to help inform Turnaround's prevention, intervention, and restorative services with the goal of making them as inclusive and accessible as possible. Turnaround's vision for our Youth Advisory Council is to empower youth to join the fight against gender-based violence and to build the bridge from survivors to trauma-informed supportive services. To reach this vision, we will provide training and the sharing of real-life experiences amongst our council members to develop their leadership, decision-making, advocacy, and organizational skills. Turnaround will share our platform and resources to optimize the council's capacity and provide financial and emotional support needed to young people to take risk, build in community, improve, and challenge local systems. We are excited to launch this program, but will need funding to make sure that this council is sustainable and able to start right away. For more about Turnaround's work with youth and all survivors, please visit us at www.turnaroundinc.org.
What a terrific idea, Angeles, and what a long history Turnaround has in improving lives. Your project is a great way to lift up the voices of youth to really address some very critical issues and make the services you provide more inclusive and accessible. So, Evan, what do you think of this idea?
This is a topic that's usually communicated through an adult's lens. And I think the way you make lasting change here is by teaching the next generation, right? Teaching youth and engaging them in these really, really important topics that are traumatizing so many people across our society. So I really give you so much kudos for pursuing this idea and bringing this important issue to light.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. So, Emily, what other details can this Changemaker share to help guide your decision tonight?
Thank you so much for this idea. How do you plan to identify participants and recruit for the youth advisory panel?
So the department that I work out of, that's all we essentially do. We work out in the community. So we're constantly working in schools and after school programs, as well as community centers and all of that. We see that with younger people, you'll see rates of emotional and psychological abuse are far higher than physical abuse. Right now, there's currently no nationally recognized representative data for sexual violence. So we're hoping to really utilize this space in order to identify what that looks like for youth. But we definitely plan on just being engaged in the community and working out of the partnerships that we already exist. As stated, we have this really long standing in our community and a number of partnerships. And honestly, young people who are readily available and wanting a space like this. And we saw that through our engagement with starting the Youth Speak series throughout the pandemic.
Thank you so much, Angeles, for your thoughtful response. Okay, so you've seen what our change makers can bring to the people and communities of Baltimore County. And there are a lot of great ideas here. So I want to thank all the community members for participating tonight, their commitment to this initiative, as well as their observations and thoughtful review of these ideas, which were great, which will really help us determine our investments in the 2021 change makers. We're going to give them a little time to just review all of tonight's big ideas once more. And coming up soon, there will be a poll on your screen where you can cast your vote for audience favorite in tonight's celebration of our change makers. Be sure to stay with us to vote. The audience favorite award means $5,000 for that recipient. But first, let's take a final look at all of our change makers one last time.
Hello, my name is Dominique Clifton, and I am creating a mobile movement studio that will travel to marginalized communities of color, offering free movement and body-centered approaches to healing trauma and reducing stress, such as yoga, dance, and exercise, provided exclusively by instructors of color.
The Education Justice Podcast Project speaks out about injustices in the education system by giving students the skills to produce podcasts of their own. Bringing college students from Baltimore County together with high school students from Baltimore City, the project amplifies student voices to connect with new audiences and foster the understanding and interconnectedness needed to move our community closer to education justice for young people in Baltimore County and beyond.
Hi, I'm Araba Mays, and I'm rehabilitating old vending machines from junk food distributors to pathways for literacy by planting them in the places Baltimoreans need them the most.
Pennies for Point is an initiative to increase underrepresented populations in dance by being a resource, exposing youth to the art form, and creating experiences for children a part of these communities.
My name is Alex Smith. I'm the owner of Division Street Landscaping. We are fully staffed 100% by ex-offenders. And what we do is we turn vacant lots, unkept property, future projects that people have in mind into beautiful spaces.
I'm Elisa, Executive Director of Sharp Dressed Man. SDM is a Baltimore City-based nonprofit providing professional formal dress wear to individuals graduating reentry, rehabilitation, veteran, and recovering programs, dressing an average of 2,000 men a year for employment opportunities and job readiness.
In 2018, 1.7 million Americans heard the words, "You have cancer." I was one of them. Thankfully, the rapid advances in medicine saved my life 3 times. But throughout this nightmarish period, I kept wondering, why do I feel so alone? My big idea tackles this issue of loneliness by launching an innovative art therapy program led by master's trained art therapists.
As a housing and financial counselor here with Dundalk Renaissance, I work with individuals through either personalized counseling or through workshops to provide the fundamentals of managing finances. With the guidance provided, we hope it assists with the economic progression within our community.
At Pro Bono Counseling, we increase access to mental health care by connecting people who are seeking counseling to licensed mental health providers who volunteer their time. We have 257 volunteers in Baltimore County who last year donated 4,047 hours of counseling care to 639 Baltimore County residents.
Turnaround is Baltimore City and County's designated rape crisis center, providing wraparound services to survivors of sexual violence, intimate partner violence, and human trafficking.
All right, folks, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to start with the Audience Choice Award through the Slido poll, where you can vote for the Changemaker you feel has the best idea to spark change right here in Baltimore County. We can only count your vote through this poll, so pay close attention and I'll tell you how it works. It's really easy to cast your vote. You can click the vote button below and you can see a link to the poll in the chat window. You can also go to slido.com and enter the word Changemaker as the event code. Again, this is important. We can only count your vote through this poll. So click the button below, see the link in the chat, or go to slido.com and type in Changemaker as the event code. It's that easy. So let's warm up with 2 poll questions so everyone feels comfortable entering their choices. For the first poll, we want to know about you and your connection to the Baltimore County Changemaker event. Do you live here, work here, both? Are you here to support a Changemaker? You can only choose one, so please select the choice that represents you best. Click the button below, see the link in the chat, or go to slido.com and enter the word Changemaker as the event code. Go ahead and answer now. We are seeing several of you selecting the choice, I support new ideas to drive positive change in Baltimore County. It's currently at 62%. There are 86 members right now that have selected some of these choices. I live in Baltimore, about 20% of you. Great. I work in Baltimore County, more than 10% of you. That's awesome. It's great to see so many of you show up to support these initiatives. It really, really is. I'm seeing even more people. Now we're up to 120 individuals that are selecting one of these choices. We'll give you one more moment to answer. Now up to 125 folks, so this is great. Okay, it looks like the majority of you are here because you support the new ideas to drive positive change in Baltimore County. So it's good to see what brought you all here tonight. And again, thank you for joining us. Let's move to our next poll. We want to know what area of social impact is most important to you. Our Changemakers have shared what's most important to them as they prepare to launch their new ideas and their innovative approaches to make lives better in Baltimore County. How about you? Which of these areas are top of mind and important to you? As I said, see the link in the chat, click the vote button below, or just go to slido.com and enter the code Changemaker. I'll give you a few moments to answer. Looks like a great number of you are selecting education as well as health. There are 112 of you that have so far responded. That's wonderful. We're seeing a good number selecting housing as something that's important to you. Great. So last call for your vote. Okay, this group has spoken. The most important area of social impact for the majority of you is education at 62%. All right, folks, it's time to vote now for the Audience Choice Award. So let's go. Please launch the official Audience Choice poll. Of all the ideas you've seen presented tonight, which do you think is best for the health and overall well-being of people in Baltimore County? I know it's not easy to choose just one, but please think about what's most important to you and select one. Remember, one Changemaker will get $5,000. One more time, we can only count your vote through the poll. Click the button below, see the link in the chat, or go to slido.com and enter Changemaker as the event code. This is so exciting to see so many strong concepts to choose from. We see the list on your screen. We see the Dominique Clifton. We see the new lens. Several groups are getting great amount of support. We're up to 140 people so far that are actually logged in and voting. Thank you so very much. We see that the Storybook Maze is so far capturing a good percentage of the votes, but there are others rising. Kids to Heart, as well as Pennies for Point. Thank you all so much for voting. We're up to 155 people that are going in to log in and vote. Thank you so much. We'll give you one more moment to get your vote in. Okay, the poll is about to close, so stay with us. We'll be right back with all the winners. And we're back. It looks like the Audience Choice Award of $5,000, and more importantly, the concept this community wants to see move forward is Storybook Maze. Congratulations, Araba Maze.
Oh, thank you.
Now, let's move on to announce the investments chosen by our panel of community members. But before we do that, I think we can all agree that every big idea presented tonight is amazing. Our change makers have really done some innovative, out-of-the-box thinking to address both long-standing and new challenges in Baltimore County. And everyone know this, every single idea that improves lives and neighborhoods is meaningful, valuable, and yes, really appreciated. So these change makers have made us carefully consider the issues they want to tackle. They've made us comprehend the struggles faced by those they'll serve. And yes, some of them have made us cry as they share their personal stories. So everybody take a deep breath and get ready as we announce the 2021 Change Makers. $10,000 will be invested in Turnaround Inc.
Thank you so much. I just want to put a shout out to my agency, my coworkers are wonderful. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
Now we have an exciting development. I was in the deliberation room with our community members as they were making their choices. And they said that the concepts presented tonight were so strong and had so much potential that they want to invest more. I'm thrilled to announce that we're making 4 more $10,000 investments tonight. And so $10,000 will also be invested in Mobile Movement Studio. So $10,000, congratulations. $10,000 will also be invested in Dundalk Renaissance Corporation.
Thank you.
We'll also be investing $10,000 to support Division Street Landscaping.
Thanks. Thanks.
And the final $10,000 will be invested in New Lens. The final $10,000 to New Lens.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. Oh my gosh.
I know none of you saw that coming.
No. Thank you so much for supporting our work and helping connect the voices of young people to Baltimore County.
And now to the $15,000 investment, which will go to Pennies. Pennies for Point.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is a truly very special night. I was also just informed that the community members have decided to make one final $15,000 investment, which goes to Storybook Maze.
Yay! Thank you.
Folks, it's clear from these additional investments that our community members have been so inspired by the innovative and creative ideas presented tonight. We're thrilled that we can help more change makers make an even more impactful position in Baltimore County. So now, for the $25,000 investment, our community members have been deliberating hard on this one. I mean, there are so many great ideas we've seen tonight, am I right? So let's begin. The recipient of a $25,000 investment in their work is Sharp Dressed Man.
Yeah! All right! All right! Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So exciting, so exciting.
So
but
cool.
Before
Thank
we
you
move
so
on,
much.
yes, before we move on, like many of you here tonight, our community members had a tough time landing on just one $25,000 recipient. So I'm thrilled to be able to share this new development, and you'll want to hold on to your seats for this one. Tonight, we'll be making not one, not two, but three $25,000 investments in our Baltimore County Changemakers. That's right, which means, folks, that we've invested in every single idea presented tonight. Yes, that's right. Our community members were so impressed with the Changemakers' ideas and their plans that they want to support each and every one of them tonight. So, a second $25,000 investment will go to Kids to Heart.
Oh my God, thank you.
And yes, and finally, a $25,000 investment will also go to Pro Bono Counseling Project.
You left us hanging. Thank you so much.
Wasn't that exciting and unexpected? Congratulations to all the 2021 Baltimore County Changemaker recipients. We can't wait to see your beautiful, wonderful ideas come to life. So I want to extend our warmest gratitude to our community partners who so thoughtfully and diligently evaluated so many great ideas, and everyone joining us here tonight for their support of our Changemaker and your feedback on the Audience Choice Award. So tonight has been all about sharing and amplifying the voices of those right here in Baltimore County who share United Way's mission, which is simple, to improve lives in neighborhoods. We're so grateful for all the ideas that were submitted and celebrate all entrants, especially our 2021 Changemakers. Thank you for making a difference in Baltimore County.